Amidst the dazzling lights and enthusiastic praise for When Life Gives You Tangerines, the drama that recently won Best Television Drama at the 2025 Big Zang Arts Awards, a troubling undercurrent has begun to surface. Behind the healing narrative lies a bitter truth: allegations of mistreatment toward the most vulnerable workers in the entertainment industry. No one expected that behind the heartwarming message of hope and resilience lay stories of shaved heads, frostbitten elderly extras, and the silenced cries of the uncelebrated. When fame becomes the only shield, there's no denying the drama's success. IU delivers a compelling return, Park Bo-gum steals hearts with raw emotion, and Moon So-ri and Park Hae-jun anchor the story with depth and gravitas. But while these leads bask in the limelight, an invisible underclass is left in the shadows: extras, stand-ins, and crew members treated as dispensable. Who are they? The ones who make the background real but never get credited. The 70-year-old actor shivering outdoors in -15 degrees Celsius weather. The young women who were forced to cut off their long hair on set because wigs were deemed inconvenient. They are the unsung workers whose dignity, it seems, was optional. 60 billion won, spent on whom? The project boasted a staggering production budget of 60 billion won, approximately $45 million. Impressive on paper, but when reports surfaced of actors lacking heating, food tables, or basic safety protocols, it sparked outrage. Some extras claimed they were told to bring their own warm clothing, were only given 30 minutes for meals, and one elderly actor reportedly suffered hypothermia and was hospitalized, only to have their medical fees denied by the production. If true, these cost-cutting measures cross the line from frugality to inhumanity, turning humans into disposable tools. A glitzy industry, built on silent suffering. This controversy is a sobering wake-up call about the imbalance in Korea's entertainment system, one that disproportionately rewards the famous while systematically silencing the rest. Tens of thousands of industry workers, from background actors to costume staff, still lack union protection, fair labor rights, or any real mechanism for whistleblowing. Speaking up often means being blacklisted or ignored. The now infamous case of the crew spray painting rented buses without permission and brushing it off with "you can just wipe it off with gasoline" is emblematic of a deeper rot, a culture of shortcuts and denial. A healing drama with a bitter irony. What makes this case especially jarring is the stark contrast between the drama's uplifting message and its alleged off-screen cruelty. The show preaches embracing life's sour tangerines and finding sweetness in adversity, yet, those making the show were left with only bitterness. One background actor put it bluntly: "This show may be healing for viewers, but for us, it was a nightmare." Netflix responds, but is it enough? On May 29, Netflix responded to the allegations, saying it is investigating the situation and promises to work with Korean production partners to improve work conditions. However, critics argue that the response lacks urgency and transparency. Online communities in South Korea and beyond are flooded with disappointment and calls for accountability. Some demand a formal investigation, others call for a boycott of the series. Time for a humanitarian revolution in entertainment. There's no denying the cultural value of high-quality dramas like When Life Gives You Tangerines. But if that success is built on the pain, humiliation, and neglect of marginalized workers, is it truly worth celebrating? It's time we reassess our standards. The entertainment industry must be held to a higher moral baseline, one where dignity and fairness aren't reserved only for the famous. A healing story cannot be born from real-life suffering. And the tangerines the audience enjoys should not be picked from the tears of the invisible. What happens when the story meant to heal becomes a source of harm? That's the paradox now gripping the South Korean entertainment industry, and Netflix, after serious allegations surfaced against the production team of When Life Gives You Tangerines, one of the most acclaimed K-dramas of 2025. The show, celebrated for its heartwarming narrative and A-list cast including IU and Park Bo-gum, now stands accused of mistreating background actors, extras, and elderly performers, turning the spotlight away from its uplifting message and toward what critics are calling a systemic failure in production ethics. The allegations, a chilling backstage reality. On May 28, Multiple viral posts on Korean social media platforms revealed alleged mistreatment behind the scenes, sparking widespread outrage. One anonymous whistleblower described the production set as a place where extras were forced to shave their heads under the guise of role requirements. Elderly actors were left outside in -15 degrees Celsius cold without heating or warm clothing. Meals were limited to 30-minute time slots, with no tables provided. An actor in his 70s was reportedly hospitalized for hypothermia, yet the production team refused to cover medical expenses. These allegations strike a harsh contrast to the drama's central theme, finding hope amid hardship. This was supposed to be a story about emotional healing, said one netizen. But it turns out the pain was all too real, for the wrong people. Netflix breaks its silence. On May 29, following mounting public pressure, Netflix Korea released an official statement addressing the controversy. "We are currently verifying the facts regarding the situation that occurred on set. Netflix is committed to working with our production partners in South Korea to ensure a better and safer work environment. For any incidents that are confirmed, we will thoroughly review them to prevent recurrence." While the response signals some accountability, critics argue that it lacks concrete commitments and specific remedies, especially considering Netflix's stature and influence within Korea's booming drama industry. The bigger picture, glamour versus labor. This is more than a scandal, it's a microcosm of a larger issue plaguing the entertainment world, the deep divide between the glamorized elite and the invisible workforce that powers the industry. For every superstar like IU, there are hundreds of background actors whose working conditions go unmonitored and unprotected. Industry insiders claim that budget cuts and outsourcing practices have led to the marginalization of these invisible workers. Despite the drama's massive $60 billion budget, $45 million extras reportedly received minimal support. Even more damning, professional background actors are now avoiding the production, with one actor calling it the most hated set in the extras community. A call for cultural accountability. The irony of a healing drama breeding real-world suffering is not lost on the public. Fans and commentators alike are questioning whether such contradictions can continue to go unchallenged, especially under a global platform like Netflix. The scandal calls into question how international streaming giants navigate local labor standards. Are they truly enforcing ethical practices, or are they turning a blind eye to local injustices so long as the final product performs well? What's next? For now, Netflix's promise to review confirmed incidents is just the beginning. Advocacy groups are calling for independent investigations, stricter labor protections for on-set workers, and transparency in production practices. As one Korean culture critic noted, healing stories should not be built on the suffering of those who remain off-screen. And that may be the final lesson of When Life Gives You Tangerines, not the one written in its script, but the one now unfolding in real life.